Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
Well, if you're heading out the door anytime soon, I-77 looks great, all green right now, even 277 right around the Queen City. Still following a few accidents. This one here is a newer one. Brookshire Boulevard at I-485. There will be a little bit of a delay, but it's not significant at this point. And then still some lingering fog. You can see it in areas shaded in that orange. It's where we do have an additional crash. I-85 southbound, Ozark Ave, exit 19. I think it's off to the shoulder at this point, but we'll be following everything for that busy morning commute on WCNC Plus. Chris.
And we mentioned that fog, it's really shallow, so it's quickly going to erode. So that's why we're already at that 10. Majestic earlier had less than a mile not too long ago. So I think it's really over the next hour or so, we're going to burn off that fog. See more of it by tomorrow morning, especially east of Charlotte. 62, sunshine all day long. Today has been claimed the superlative, the sunniest day of the week, because then other than that, we are mixing in more clouds each and every day. Tomorrow, starting off foggy. I think you have a partly cloudy afternoon, high of 66. Starting off in the 30s, and then after that, we have a lot of lows in the 50s, and then we kind of do the switcheroo, flip-flopping back to pretty much where we should be, seeing the 50s by the back end, but something to look forward to, the 70s, the lower to the mid 70s on Thursday and Friday. Now note, we will have more clouds these days, so it won't be as sunny and beautiful as today. It's just definitely going to be on the warmer side.
76 is going to feel great. All right, before we go, it's time for your morning boost. Love was in the air on Valentine's Day in the Queen City. A pilot making a heart-shaped flight path over the Charlotte area, marking the special occasion. Charlotte Douglas posting this video of the path saying, "Consider this our Valentine to Charlotte."
Cute.
So
Like
cool,
that.
right?
My first reaction as a man, I'm thinking, he must have really been in the doghouse or something.
He's out now.
Isn't that right?
Exactly.
All right, join us on WCNC Plus at 7.
Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off with your forecast on this Monday after a day of rain that didn't seem to end. Finally, some sunshine.
Yeah, the sunshine's going to be great today. However, everything is pretty soaked still. 1.33 inches of rain. That is substantial. That's the most rain that we've had since September 4th, 2025. And now we are still much colder than we were yesterday at this point, mainly just because we have that clear sky. Zero difference, though, for you in Boone. 11-degree cool down around Morganton. That brings our temperatures to 39 degrees to 40 across Mecklenburg County. Just dropped down to 39 within the most recent update over the last 4 minutes. 31 degrees around Lincoln, and then 37 around Gastonia. So where we are seeing some patchy dense fog, where that is the major issue that we're dealing with for the time being, right around Lincoln, that's where we're seeing a chance for even a little bit of freezing fog. So it could be a little bit slicker on some of those bridges and overpasses. Just keep that in mind. It's usually when temperatures are much, much colder than this that it really leads to a much bigger issue and a much bigger problem. So I want to show you where our fog has been over the last 12 hours. Here, I'm going to go back in time. You've seen it fluctuate. Very spotty all over the place. Now we just have a half-mile visibility around Lincoln up into Catawba County. That's the big issue for the short term. Other than that, it's just going to be a cooler morning, and it could be a lot colder with high temperatures getting into the lower 60s. But what you see in the background there in Rock Hill, sunshine. Enjoy it. We have sunshine all day long, mid to the upper 50s by the early afternoon, and then jumping up to around 62 degrees for the high. So say if you're going to the playground with the kids, maybe you want to bring a small towel, do your service to you and your neighbors because the slides are going to be very wet. Don't wear the nicer shoes because there's going to be puddles all over the place. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But at least we have that sunshine, which is going to be actively trying to evaporate all the above. Then overnight tonight, we have more fog. This is more so, I think, going to be east of I-77 on another colder morning. Here's what that looks like. Staying clear throughout today, but then here it is. Dense fog really filtering in by the early morning hours, especially in our far eastern counties over to Raleigh. That's where I think we're going to likely have a dense fog advisory. And then beyond that, clearing out yet again, probably about 9 to 10 o'clock. Our weekly superlatives decided to dust off this graphic, bring it back. Today is the sunniest day that we have going forward because that cloud cover is going to be really thick, especially later on in the week, even though we do bring us to our warmest day, which officially is on Friday. The wettest Friday as well. Now, this one might have an asterisk because this is the one that's going to change on me, I think, most likely. It's either going to be more of a Friday to Friday night or Friday night heading into Saturday. But right now I moved it to Friday for the short term. And then once that front passes, we officially are dealing with the coldest day of the week, which is 57. So I got all this information, not just making it up from our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. Seeing 62 with sunshine. It's the only day that has just the sunny icon. Then a lot more clouds, especially starting on Wednesday. But that also starts our chance for an isolated shower Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday heading to Saturday before we start to clear things out, cool things down heading into next week. Coming up, I'm going to focus a little bit more on the rain chances, which one is really standing out, what it looks like over the next few days. But first, our very first check at our morning commute for here on WCNC Plus.
All right, good morning, everyone. Some of those roads still a little bit wet, but it's turning out to be a beautiful start to the day. Live camera coming in from Boone right there on King Street. Again, damp area roadways, but the rain is over, and boy, we are getting you ready for a stunning day today. My map is starting to get busy. The first couple of hours on WCNC started out very quiet, which made sense. I mean, we don't even have kids going to school today, so a lot less traffic than we would usually see. However, now we are starting to see some more delays starting to build. I-85 southbound, this is our newest crash this morning. It's at Graham Street. That's exit 40. I do have a lot of green surrounding it, though, so not seeing significant impacts with it. And then this here, just to the south, Albemarle Road at Sharon Amity Road. There is going to be a crash right there at that intersection. Once we zoom it out, heading up to the north, this is out by I-485, the northwestern side of it. Brookshire Boulevard at I-485, that's been ongoing for 30 minutes now, still not cleared, but it is off to the shoulder. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll talk about what's going on in Gaston County this morning and how that fog may be impacting that morning commute. Guys.
All right, Majestic, thanks. We have some breaking news in Charlotte. 2 people are hurt after 2 separate shootings overnight. The first in East Charlotte on Central Avenue. Medic tells us 1 person was treated for serious injuries. The other shooting happened in Southeast Charlotte on Villa Court. 1 person also seriously hurt in this shooting. Right now, CMPD has not shared what led up to either shooting. We will update you as soon as we get more information.
We now turn to growing political tension here in Mecklenburg County. The local Republican Party calling for Sheriff Gary McFadden to resign.
This following some awkward moments during a hearing in Raleigh last week that later went viral. WCNC Charlotte's Richard DeVay joins us live this morning. He's outside the sheriff's office to break down this back and forth and how the sheriff is responding. Richard.
Yeah, we might hear from the sheriff later today, Elisa, about all of this back and forth. Basically, Republican leaders wanting him to leave his office after this incident that you said went viral. Take a listen to this.
What branch of government do you operate under?
Mecklenburg County.
What branch of government do you operate under, Sheriff?
Constitution of the United States.
Correct. That is what establishes the branches of government. I'm asking which branch you fall under.
Mecklenburg County. I'm a duly sworn Mecklenburg County Sheriff. We answer to the people of Mecklenburg County.
Are you aware of how many branches of government there are?
No.
Yeah, that was last week when they had that House Oversight Committee meeting. And now the Mecklenburg County Republican Party is demanding that Gary McFadden, the sheriff of Mecklenburg County, step down after the testimony that he gave that raised questions about his understanding of government structure. They say during the hearing he struggled to answer how many branches of government exist, as you just heard there. And Mecklenburg County Grand Old Party spokesperson Jamie Daniels says this exchange goes beyond a simple mistake and reflects broader concerns about his leadership and public safety. Party leaders argue that Mecklenburg County needs experienced leadership focused on reducing crime and maintaining public trust. Now, we have reached out to the sheriff. As of yet, we haven't heard from him about this latest incident. He has spoken to us before about this whole back and forth. We hope to hear from him later today at about 1 o'clock. There will be a meeting to talk about Jail North. And of course, we'll just bring this information up to him, this latest call for him to resign. So far, he has offered no signs that he plans to resign. And he is actually planning to continue to run for re-election to the sheriff's office. We're right here outside the Mecklenburg County Detention Center. This is Richard DeVay. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, the primary just weeks away. Richard, thank you. Right now, CMPD is investigating a deadly crash in South Charlotte. It happened around 9 last night on Old Providence Road at Vendu Place. According to medic, no one needed to be taken to the hospital. Police haven't said what caused the crash. CMPD also investigating after a person was found dead in North Charlotte. They say the victim was found on Lawton Road Sunday morning just off Brookshire Boulevard. Investigators have not shared details on a possible suspect.
This morning, authorities are investigating 2 house fires across our area. The first, a deadly house fire in Cabarrus County. It happened Saturday morning in the Abington neighborhood of Harrisburg. That's just off Rocky River Road. Deputies say a man was found dead in the home. We're also working to learn more about a second house fire, this one in North Charlotte. It happened last night on Saxonberry Way, just off Prosperity Church Road. Charlotte Fire says no one was hurt. Firefighters were able to get the fire under control in about 30 minutes. Right now, the cause of both fires is unknown.
Over the weekend, one program did its part to make sure widows in our area felt extra loved during Valentine's Day, a holiday that can be tough, of course. The Widows Outreach Program, now in its 6th year, delivered thousands of flower bouquets to widows throughout the region. Ashley Manning founded the initiative after sending flowers to her son's teacher, a widow, and witnessing the impact it had.
We're serving about 1,300 out of Charlotte here, with 300 going out of Denver, North Carolina. We have 85 going out of Lancaster. We have 50 going out of Columbia. We have 50 going out of Winston. So cumulatively, we're over 2,000 in the Carolinas.
And you know what? This is a great reminder for all of us, myself included, that Valentine's Day is a tough holiday for a lot of folks out there. Organizers say the flowers did not erase, of course, the grief, but they do offer a connection on a day that can sometimes feel lonely.
The debate over marijuana legalization in North Carolina continues. Advocates say legalization could bring big tax revenue like other states have seen.
You could be looking at easily $500 to $700 million a year coming into the state coffers, state and local coffers.
Across the country, states with legal recreational marijuana have generated nearly $25 billion since sales began in 2014. Tonight at 6 on WCNC Charlotte, a look at what that money could be used for if North Carolina were to legalize recreational marijuana.
Live now at 7:10 here on WCNC Plus. Let's get to the Olympic Games. Team USA continuing to climb that medal count in Italy after an intense week in the nation, now tied with Japan at the 3rd overall spot with a total of 17 medals.
Anne-Marie Tiernan is back with us this morning. She is live in Milan. And speaking of those recent wins over the weekend, we know the speed skater Jordan Stolz won another gold, the first time for an American man in the Olympics since 2006. What a feat.
Well, 2 down and 2 to go as far as competitions for this 21-year-old Jordan Stolz from Wisconsin. You know, he has the world records in these events, and now 2 events in, he's setting the Olympic records too. He is somebody who had a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation, and based on his performance, the most recent was the 500-meter gold on Saturday on Valentine's Day. There is no doubt that Jordan Stolz is the fastest man on ice in the world right now. So look for him to be competing on Thursday and Saturday, a little bit of a break. The 1,500 meters on Thursday, world record holder in that, and then the mass start event on Saturday. So he really has been delivering. And, you know, I wanted to let you know that Ilya Malinin, after he had that race on, or that competition on Friday, didn't deliver, didn't podium. He said, I blew it. And then went silent. He was going to be doing interviews with NBC on Saturday. Those were canceled, and everyone just it just was very quiet. Well, just in the last 2 hours, Ilya posted on Instagram and really kind of revealed his mental state as he was leading up to, and some of the demons that he was battling leading up to that competition. And it's a whole paragraph, but I'm gonna read you a little line here because I think it really just shows how dark and how frustrating and how social media really can get into your mind. He said, even your happiest memories can end up tainted by the noise. Vile online hatred attacks the mind, and fear lures you into the darkness no matter how hard you try to stay sane through the endless, unsurmountable pressure. It all builds up as these moments flash before your eyes, resulting in an inevitable crash. So he really was saying how he was struggling mentally at that moment. He also, at the end of the post, says coming February 21st. So looking ahead to this Saturday, where there is this kind of ice skating show. It's not a competition, but some of the top skaters from the Olympics come together and put together a show. It's a tradition. He has agreed to participate in that event. It'll give him an opportunity to get back on the ice, maybe land those quads, do that quad axel, do that backflip, do whatever it takes to get his mind back where it needs to be so he can march on from Milan with a better mindset.
And hopefully for his sake, get off social media.
I was gonna say.
I can't even believe.
Put it down.
Like, if I was a coach or trainer, that would be like number one. And I don't know anything about coaching or training or sports. But my number one thing would be, do not get on social media.
Don't read the comments. Do not read the comments. My goodness.
Yeah, I think you're so smart because, you know, Lindsey Vonn has said how the attacks online affect her. I've covered Simone Biles for a long time. The attacks online affect her. Ilya saying it affected him. So they do pay attention. They do care. They do know there's scrutiny, and it's getting in there and it's having an impact. So I think, Ben, you're absolutely right. You just have to shut it down because you can't control necessarily the impact of how you're going to process that information once you consume it.
It starts giving you mind chatter and second guessing yourself, even though you're an Olympic they called you the quad god, and now you're second guessing yourself.
The negatives always outweigh the positives in your brain. I don't know why, but that's just kind of the way it is. Don't read those comments.
Super interesting tidbit there, Anne-Marie. Thanks for sharing it. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more streaming live here on WCNC Plus.
7:16 right now. With no agreement over immigration and custom enforcement reforms, the Department of Homeland Security has now run out of funding.
There are growing concerns about how long this partial government shutdown will last. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
This morning, the reality of another partial government shutdown is settling in after the Department of Homeland Security ran out of funding over the weekend with no deal on reforms to immigration enforcement operations.
We need change that is dramatic, that is bold, that is meaningful.
We have to protect law enforcement.
While negotiators struggle for common ground, ICE and Border Patrol at the center of the dispute are still funded through what President Trump called the Big Beautiful Bill, while critical workers at FEMA, the Coast Guard, and TSA are once again working without pay.
People's lives and livelihoods are being played with here.
Union leader Andrew Cardosa says many TSA agents are still recovering from the last shutdown in the fall that snarled air travel for weeks. He says they can't afford another extended stretch without pay.
For me, eventually, it's going to come down to, do I put gas in the car to go to work for free, or do I put food on the table with that money for my kid?
Democrats argue they have to stand firm in the wake of the shooting deaths of 2 American citizens by federal officers. They're demanding changes, including a uniform code of conduct for ICE and Border Patrol, judicial warrants before immigration arrests, and no masks on officers.
No police department in America doesn't identify themselves.
What are you going to do, expose their faces so you can intimidate their families? What we want is ICE to be able to do their job.
Congress is out until next week, but could come back to vote if there's a deal. Republicans are accusing Democrats of political theater in the lead up to President Trump's State of the Union address next week. Democratic leadership rejecting that, saying they hope to reach a deal before then. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Spring break in about a month. Will the Queen City be a good destination weather-wise? Chris standing by to let us know.
Welcome back, everyone. So, most recent question that was asked is, how's it looking for spring break? Now, we physically can't look that far out and be accurate for you, but I can look to climatology, where we should be, and if this is a good destination here in the Carolinas. For one, the longest that we're going to go out is 8 to 14 days, and that actually does bring us to March 1st, and things are trending to either be near normal or slightly above average, and that is definitely the testament of the time where we're looking at our 10-day forecast. It shows that we're going to see a fall back to the 50s, and eventually we'll start to come back into the 60s, especially heading into the early parts of March. So over the next 3 weeks, here's where our normal highs are trending, and this brings us through March 11th. Once you get to the end of February, you're rocking 60 degrees. March 3rd, we're up to 61, and then going forward past there, it's really every 3 to 4 days we're going to add an extra degree onto our average high. So that brings us up to March 11th, we average the lower 60s. There's still a chance that you could have some big time fallouts, but it's this time of year that you're going to have quick sudden drops, quick warm-ups, but at least the drops don't last as long as, say, what we have in February. But if you're already thinking about spring, that officially comes on March 20th at 10:46. That's only 33 days away, and there's still a lot that can still change in the near term. But another thing to mention is that it's actually sooner here in the meteorological world that officially we call it meteorological spring come March 1st. And at that point, as I mentioned, averaging around 60 degrees. By the end of the month, we're averaging around the average room temperature, which is about 68 degrees. And then we quickly warm up through April, and then eventually once you get to May, we're averaging around 80 degrees. And that brings me up to my next point. The average first 80-degree high, the earliest that we've ever had in Charlotte history, it's earlier than you think. It's actually Groundhog Day, 1989, so not as far out as you think. And the average first 80-degree high that we typically have here in Charlotte is March 27th. So what all this means, answering the question, is typically for spring break, we're averaging around the 60s with some spikes in the 70s with a rarity of getting to around 80 degrees. We've done 79 multiple times, by the way, earlier than this. Just trying to get to that 80-degree point is pretty tough in the months of December and in January. The latest we ever had it, May 2nd. Coming up at the top of the next half hour, I'll talk specifically about the rain before we get to your extended forecast. Majestic has an update for your morning commute right now.
All right, let's get to it. Good morning, everyone. Well, we do have a handful of ongoing issues. Want to start with this here. This is our big picture perspective, kind of just showing you areas north of Charlotte look okay. I-40, not seeing any big concerns. But as we look at my map, we do still have this problem here on I-85. It's southbound lanes where there is a crash. It's out near exit 19. You can see there will be some orange there, meaning that cars are just moving slowly. One lane is blocked as they're continuing to clear that. Once we're heading up to the north just a little bit, this is going to be I-485 at Brookshire Boulevard. There is a crash there. However, I'm not seeing significant impacts with that, so that is some good news. Once we're heading here, this is our last thing to let you know about. Currently, Albemarle Road at Sharon Amity Road. There's an ongoing crash right there at the intersection. You can see we do have some slow-moving cars around that crash, which also makes sense. We'll be watching everything for you coming up in just a few minutes and talking about what I'm seeing in areas south of Charlotte in just a few. Guys.
All right, Majestic, thanks. Approaching 7:25 now. We need to take a quick break, but make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC Plus. A sunny start to your Monday after all that rain on Sunday. Appreciate today's sunshine.
Well, good morning, everybody. We have a lot more clouds on our eastern viewing area for you in Anson County, but still sunshine mixing through. You can see how fast these clouds are moving, so that really shows something. 40 degrees is our current temperature right now. 35 for you in Hickory. You're freezing in Burke County and right around Morganton, but look at those blue skies. That's pretty much what we're holding on most of the day today. High temperature right around 62 degrees, sunshine all day long. Occasional gust up to 20 miles per hour, so you're going to be feeling that, so a little wind chilly from time to time. And then overnight tonight, we have more dense fog on a colder morning as temperatures drop back down into the mid-30s. As far as our highs, mid to the upper 60s Tuesday and Wednesday, increasing the cloud cover drastically. Today is actually the sunniest day of the week, and then back to the 70s with more chance for rain Thursday, Friday. All right, Majestic, what's going on this morning?
Good morning, everyone. Take a look at my map. We have lots going on now that we are just about at that 7:30 time frame. I'm covering all of these crashes for you on WCNC Plus. But before we go, I want to let you know about this. It's a newer crash on Carmel Drive at Fairview Road. It's right there in the middle of the intersection. Just to the north, this is Albemarle Road at Sharon Amity Road. Similar setup there. And then here at I-85 southbound, there's a crash there, specifically at Graham Street, exit 40. Make sure you're driving safely, and we'll see you over on WCNC Plus.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30 on this Monday morning. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Mecklenburg County health leaders are taking their planning process on the road, and they want to hear directly from you.
Today marks the start of a county-wide effort to gather community input that will help shape local health priorities for the next several years. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live this morning in Southeast Charlotte with what health leaders are hoping to accomplish. Destiny.
Yeah, Mecklenburg County Public Health is going on a county-wide tour starting today to share local health data and ask residents what health issues should be prioritized in 2026. Health leaders are calling this the Live Well Mech Tour and say it's about gathering community input as they build the county's next community health improvement plan, updated every 3 years. Focus areas include access to care, chronic disease, mental health, violence prevention, and maternal and child health. According to Mecklenburg County's 2023 to 2025 data, there's been progress, including fewer uninsured adults and lower smoking rates, but challenges remain with increases in suicides, youth suicide attempts, opioid overdose deaths, and homicides. Maternal mortality and housing cost burden are also concerns. The first stop on the Live Well Mech Tour is today from noon to 1:30 in Cornelius, with events across the county through mid-April. They're all free and open to the public. And that's where public health leaders will hear from people and collect this new data to inform this new health plan. And officials say getting all of that feedback now is how they'll determine where resources and strategies will be focused next. Live in Southeast Charlotte, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Destiny, thank you. 7:32 now, and looking ahead, Charlotte City Council will discuss expanding street vending regulations this week. It comes as NODA's pilot program is set to expire today, effectively banning vending in the area. Council members cite concerns over congestion, police staffing, and competition with local businesses as their reason for considering tougher penalties and fines. That meeting starts at 6 tomorrow night at the Government Center in Uptown.
Police in Lincolnton have arrested a man accused of targeting 2 young girls inside a Walmart. Officers say 25-year-old Tristan Coleman approached a juvenile, grabbed her, and tried to get her to leave the store. Investigators say he may have also taken inappropriate photos and assaulted a second girl. Coleman now faces attempted kidnapping and child exploitation charges and is being held in the county jail. As we speak, CMPD is investigating after somebody was found dead in North Charlotte. They say the victim was found on Lawton Road Sunday morning just off the Berkshire. Right now, investigators haven't shared details on a possible suspect.
A 43-year-old man from Louisiana will be arraigned today in Taylorsville after a multi-county police chase. It began in Catawba County when Sean Jones hit a deputy's car and drove away. He was eventually stopped in Alexander County at First Baptist Church and taken into custody. Jones remains behind bars this morning.
Right now, folks trying to climb out of debt are speaking out as the number of complaints against collection agencies is spiking. Federal data shows more consumers in the Carolinas and across the country are reporting abusive and threatening tactics. One Huntersville woman knows the struggle firsthand after racking up more than $30,000 in debt and facing relentless calls from collection agencies.
They were kind of like, how can you not be paying your bills? What kind of person doesn't pay their bills?
If you are feeling trapped, there is help out there. The best thing to do is to request written proof of a debt. And if you want to ask collectors to stop calling, do it through the mail. Credit counselors also can be a big help in lowering your rates, paying down balances, and getting your finances back on track.
In just hours, we're going to learn more about plans to bring DMV kiosks to Charlotte stores. This morning at 10, the DMV will share an announcement about its plans to expand the Express Self-Service Kiosk program here in Charlotte. Right now, there are 8 locations across the Queen City. They allow you to skip the line to renew your license or pay your property tax. All right, let's check back in with Chris now for more on our forecast on a sunny Monday.
This is the sunniest by far, y'all. Take advantage of it. Check it out. Look at all that sunshine. Either side of 60 degrees for a high today, depending where you are. And just a few clouds in the morning, but all in all, I think that sunshine is pretty much a wall-to-wall type of scenario. But check it out. Our rainfall yesterday all over the place, seeing less to the north, but mainly it was from Shelby, Lincoln, down through Gastonia, Rock Hill, and then over to Monroe and Charlotte that we saw the most and the majority of the rain. 2 inches, though, in Shelby. So no rainfall forecast, anything close to that in the near term. But we do start to increase some isolated rain chances on your Wednesday, your Thursday, scattered activity on Friday and Saturday. There's a lot of question marks, honestly, here, because we have chance for rain on Friday and Saturday, but this is a cold front. And that cold front, we have 2 big split decisions. That's why I have scattered for both. We are leaning towards more of a Friday to Friday night time frame, but there are some indications it could linger Friday night heading into Saturday. So just kind of block off mentally those are going to be some wetter days, but one will definitely win out for most of the rainfall. Nothing like what we just saw. That is a rarity, honestly, here in the Carolinas. Here's a look at our futurecast. Nothing happening today, barely anything. Winds out of the north-northeast will be breezy at times, gusting up to about 20 miles per hour. And then tomorrow, we had some dense fog this morning, but it's not going to be nearly as widespread as what we have tomorrow. Tomorrow, right around Raleigh to Albemarle, I think we're going to have multiple visibilities that are dropping below a mile. Charlotte's going to be kind of on that cusp. It's just a better environment for it, especially in the eastern side of the Carolinas. So I think some of us could even be under a dense fog advisory. Keep that in mind. Even if we're not, you're still going to have a shot at that. As far as our rainfall forecast goes, there's not really too much to mention here. This is not a big wet weather maker because we had 1 to 2 inches of rain in a day. Meanwhile, we're only going to see about a ½ inch to an inch of rain across the multiple chances for rain that look to be fairly weak in the near term. I think realistically we're dry through Wednesday, so there's really not a lot to report here. So our 7-day forecast showing that we are above average. The average, by the way, is now up to 57 degrees, an average low of 35. We're above that today. Tomorrow, we're pretty much matching our average low, but then we have a nice little climb to the mid to the upper 60s. But today, I'm telling you to take advantage of, because it is by far the sunniest, because every other day here has at least some chunk of clouds, where Wednesday even has a chance of being mostly cloudy to overcast. Thursday and Friday trending to be partly sunny to mostly cloudy. And then that 76 degree point, I think it's coming in with more clouds and sunshine, and it just depends on what that front is going to do. If it waits until a little bit later on the day, I think we'll have a decent day before it eventually rolls through. Even an outside chance for a thunderstorm or two. But regardless, behind this system, we're dropping temperatures back down into the 50s, and looking at the 10-day forecast, watch out. 50 degrees on Monday, the next freezing low that we have, so that's kind of the silver lining. That'll be on Tuesday. Now note, 36 degrees is above freezing. Some of us will pop to that 31, 32 by tomorrow morning. But for Charlotte specifically, it's not until next Tuesday and Wednesday that we're below freezing. And after that, things start to trend back up. All right, let's see where traffic is trending for the second half hour of WCNC Plus. Majestic.
All right, let's do it. 7:37 right now. Beautiful start to our Monday. This is I-77 there at Harris Road. It's out in York County, where conditions, they look all right. But once we switch it over to my map, we do still have a handful of ongoing accidents. This one here will be south of Uptown. It's on Carmel Road at Fairview Road. I am seeing some minor delays there, but nothing significantly slowing you down this morning. This here, it's not an accident. It's some traffic lights that are not working. Albemarle Road at Sharon Amity Road. You can see the orange there indicating that cars are just moving slowly, treating it like a four-way stop instead of that stop light there. Then to the north of it, this is I-85 southbound at Graham Street. Earlier, police did indicate that this was a serious accident at exit 40. However, as far as the delays or the backups, I'm not seeing much going on there. One lane is blocked as they're continuing to clear it. This one here is on the northwestern half of I-485 Brookshire Boulevard. It's been ongoing for almost an hour now, so similar setup off to the shoulder, but still important as you're heading out the door. And then the final thing to let you know is this here, I-85. If you take it this morning, those southbound lanes will be a bit delayed, especially at exit 19. That's where we do have an additional crash and where we do still have some lingering fog that may reduce down visibility. Guys.
A new way to rejuvenate is becoming a lot more popular. Find out how adults are recharging in today's world. More people are taking extended breaks from work as a way to reset, recharge, and rethink their routines.
These mini sabbaticals or adult gap years are no longer just for academics. They're becoming a practical option for anyone feeling burned out or ready for a change. Companies are slowly warming up to this idea, and many workers are finding creative ways to fund time off on their own. Even with obstacles like cost or fear of judgment, more people are realizing that stepping away can offer clarity, perspective, and a healthier relationship with work. What used to feel impossible is starting to look like a real attainable path for many.
A supplement recall you should know about this morning. Ambrosia Brands is recalling lots of its Rosabella morning capsules product due to possible salmonella contamination. The recall product was sold to consumers across the country on the Try Rosabella website and through TikTok shop. To date, there have been 7 illnesses resulting in 3 hospitalizations due to salmonella contamination. Ambrosia Brands urging customers to reach out to the company if they have any questions about that recall. Initiative Foods recalling one lot of its Tippy Toes apple pear banana puree because it contains elevated levels of patchoulin, a substance produced in molds. The FDA says long-term exposure can cause health issues, though no illnesses have been reported. Baby food sold nationwide except in Alaska and comes in 2-pack plastic tubs with a best by date of July 17, 2026. Customers should throw it out or return it to the store to get your money back.
Well, there is some rough news for our four-legged friends as a new study finds that popular dog foods on the market contain alarming levels of lead, mercury, and other contaminants. And we've seen how bad these processes and the additives can be for people. So is it that far-fetched to think it'd be bad for our pets too? Here's NBC's George Solis.
Everyone's talking about what ultra-processed foods does to our health.
My message is clear: eat real food.
But what about our four-legged friends? A new study into the multi-billion-dollar dog food industry found what the group says is high levels of contaminants like arsenic, cadmium, mercury, and lead in your pet's dry food. The findings come from Colorado-based nonprofit Clean Label Project, which tests and certifies consumer products. They found dry food has the highest level of contaminants, and a close second, air and freeze-dried. Best option, fresh and frozen, human-grade stuff that you can eat yourself. The report looked at 79 of the top-selling dog foods, but didn't call out specific brands.
I don't think anyone, any group, any company sets out to contaminate food. I think they love their dogs as much as I love my dog who's sitting right next to me. I think it just needs to have more attention brought to it.
The study finds things like meat byproducts, added vitamin and mineral premix, and seafood and plant-based carbs were likely contributors. And while those numbers sound alarming, traces of these contaminants have been found in our food supply for decades. The 1950s saw a major rise in the industrialization of our food, a boom in factory farming, and the invention of quick, cheap meals like TV dinners, leading to what we see now with ultra-processed foods for us and for our dogs.
We try and be prescriptive and not cause total panic, but say, hey, here are the options.
The best of the bunch, fresh and frozen dog food can run you hundreds of dollars a month. So is it worth it? The answer is complicated.
Was there a correlation to price point?
As much as we wish we could deliver it all on a silver platter, that it's got the most nutritious ingredients with the lowest contaminants at the best price point, we just look at the data and we say, here's what we tested. This is what we found, to bring attention to it. And, ideally, it would all align, but that's not necessarily the case.
But there is concern that eating these contaminants could do real harm.
These dogs are having the same food almost every day for their entire lives. We need more studies to say, okay, the dogs that are getting sick, is diet playing a role?
We've reached out to the FDA for comment and have yet to hear back.
That's the beauty of independent consumer testing, is that you can say, oh, all right, I don't need the government to tell me how to get something better.
Hamilton says an educated and empowered consumer is a pet's best friend until they get federal regulations to sink their teeth into.
NBC's George Solis with that report. Well, experts want you to be ready for what this tax season will throw at you. Their advice next.
Welcome back, everyone. So I receive questions all the time, and I love to answer them, especially during this section of WCNC Plus. So Mike wrote in, hypothetical question, my good man. If this system Sunday was in conjunction with the polar vortex or just temps in the 20s, what would be the approximate amount of snow and or ice that we would have created? Now he says 1 inch rain equals 10 inch snow ratio, right? Well, there's multiple layers here, Mike, and I appreciate the question, but let's go first to the bottom line. How much rain fell across the area? And I'm happy to say that this wasn't all a snow situation. Now, luckily for us, we're dealing with just a warmer environment, mainly in the 40s. It was a cold rain, it wasn't pleasant. But in general here in the Carolinas, we don't actually have a 10-to-1 ratio. We typically average about an 8-to-1 ratio. But it's the colder you get, the higher that ratio goes up. That's why we had such a fluffy snow for that event that gave us 11 plus inches, because that had a snow ratio of 17-to-1. So doing some quick math, if we were to translate this over to more of a realistic, almost 8 to 12-to-1 ratio, I think that this easily would have dumped anywhere from about 10 to 14 inches of snow if this was indeed that case and scenario. And it wouldn't have necessarily been that fluffy one. It would have been perfect for snowballs, but thank goodness that was not the case, because that would have been absolute pandemonium. The fluffy stuff's actually easier to move. So great question, Mike. I always love to answer your questions across the board. And again, I am happy about it. Snow lovers, maybe not. So it's a much easier cleanup as well. 62 degrees for a high today. Your Monday forecast looks to be spectacular. Lots of sunshine from sunrise to sunset. Of course, the sun has already risen up for the day. And that sunset time, it's still going to be a pretty decent one heading into the evening. Our rainfall chances, I was going through them before. These aren't great, to be honest with you, because I've been looking at some of the model data. It's not a lot. And I want to show you. Here is the 120-hour plus rainfall totals we potentially could see. And this actually brings us all the way through the weekend, where things are trending that this is actually going to be more of a Friday and Friday night event, not so much for the weekend. But I still think that there's going to be some question marks about maybe another system rolling through. But right now, our long-range models are showing well less than an inch. So that's not going to help out our drought status, because we desperately need the rain. We were talking a lot about this last week once we get the new update from the Drought Monitor, which officially updates every Thursday, and the numbers are processed officially on Tuesday. So tomorrow we'll have a clear route to see if we did improve anything. But those big red spots that you're seeing there, mainly over Cabarrus County, Monroe County, the rain that we saw definitely helped, but we need several more events like this to really start to catch up, remove the red, and even remove the severe drought status. All right, let's see if there's anything severe for our morning commute. Majestic, what's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Still just a handful of minor accidents, nothing too severe at this point, but still a bit of an inconvenience for some as you're heading out the door. This first one here is south of Charlotte, south of Uptown. It's going to be Carmel Road at Fairview Road. That's where we do have a crash right there in the middle of the intersection. Not seeing significant delays with it though. And then to the north, this is I-85 southbound at Graham Street. Ongoing problem there. We do still have some slow moving traffic around that, and that's been ongoing for over an hour now. This is 485 at Brookshire Boulevard, where the traffic signals, they're not working there. Again, the northwestern half of I-485, where that's ongoing still. And then Gaston County, good morning to everyone waking up and joining us from there. 321 continues to look okay. We do still have some lingering pockets of fog, and this is still not completely cleared either. I-85 southbound at Ozark Ave, that's out by exit 19. Otherwise, many of us starting to see that nice sunshine. It's going to be a beautiful day today, but some of those roads still a little bit wet for that early morning commute. We'll have another check on everything that I'm watching for you coming up here shortly.
All right, Majestic, thanks. Well, like it or not, tax season is officially underway, and Americans have until April 15th to file their returns. Experts say the best way to avoid last-minute stress is to get organized early. Tom Osabian with the National Association of Tax Professionals reminds filers not to wait until the last minute. Here are some things that he suggests that you do. First thing, gather your documents. Having everything in place helps to prevent mistakes that could delay your refund or cause problems with your return. Also, know the changes this year. There are a lot of changes this year, and knowing those new tax rules helps you to avoid surprises and make sure that you are claiming everything you qualify for. Also, understanding these updates before you file makes the process smoother and more accurate. Also, look for resources. Very important, because resources can help you avoid costly mistakes and connect you with free or low-cost support. And many families know about the child tax credit. There we go. There we go. Know about the child tax credit. Understanding that credit is important because that affects how much support you can receive at tax time. And last one, very important, avoid tax scams. Those are becoming more common and can trick you into giving away your personal information or money. Being aware of how the IRS actually communicates helps you to protect yourself and your refund. Analysts projected that the average tax refund this year to be more than $4,000. That's a lot of money. So get back what you earned safely and stress-free.
That's right. Don't let those scammers take it away. 7:54 right now. Live pictures over uptown on a Monday morning, the start of a brand new week as the sun comes up. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning. Right now we are at 40 degrees in Charlotte. It's freezing for you in Hickory, 31 around Morganton. Beautiful blue sky, just some clouds further off towards the east. But then all in all, today is going to be a perfectly sunny day. Enjoy it. It's the sunniest of the week, actually. High temperatures getting into the lower 60s by the mid to late afternoon. On and off wind gusts to 20 miles per hour will make it feel wind chilly. 36 degrees by tomorrow. Some of us just touching that freezing point. I think we're going to have some patchy, dense fog, especially east of I-77, but Charlotte will start to see it as well. And then temperatures dropping down into the mid-30s. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has a nice little surge this week, mid to the upper 60s, more clouds each day heading into your Wednesday. The 70s for Thursday and Friday, with our best chance for rain right now looking to be Friday night heading into your Saturday. All right, let's see how our morning commutes roll in with Majestic Storm.
Let's do it. Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful start to the day. This is I-77 out near Harris Road. That's coming in from York County, some of our South Carolina counties. Looking great. No problems for them. One thing to know, though, before you head out the door, if you take I-85 southbound, we are still following an ongoing crash there. Exit 19 specifically, but there will be a bit of a delay, so make sure you plan accordingly. It's not a stop and go, but a bit of a delay, about 5 minutes. We'll have more on WCNC Plus.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We have some breaking news in Charlotte. 2 people are hurt after 2 separate shootings overnight. The first in East Charlotte on Central Avenue. Medic tells us 1 person treated for serious injuries. The other happened in Southeast Charlotte on Villa Court. 1 person seriously injured in that shooting as well. Right now, CMPD has not shared what's led up to either shooting. We will update you as soon as we get more information.
We now turn to a growing political tension here in Mecklenburg County. The local Republican Party calling for Sheriff Gary McFadden to resign.
Now, this follows some awkward moments during a hearing in Raleigh last week that later went viral. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live this morning outside the sheriff's office to break down this back and forth and how the sheriff is responding. Richard.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lisa. Good morning, Ben. Good Monday morning to the folks on the Plus watching us. Basically, we spoke to the sheriff last week after incidents, actually, comments were made after that incident that went viral. Now, that was when state leaders were concerned. Now, local Republican leadership says it's time for the sheriff to go after this gaffe. So what are we talking about? If you haven't heard, take a listen to Mr. McFadden, Sheriff McFadden, as he is asked questions about, well, take a listen.
What branch of government do you operate under?
Mecklenburg County.
What branch of government do you operate under, Sheriff?
Constitution of the United States.
Correct. That is what establishes the branches of government. I'm asking which branch you fall under.
Mecklenburg County. I'm a duly sworn Mecklenburg County Sheriff. We answer to the people of Mecklenburg County.
Are you aware of how many branches of government there are?
No.
Yeah, that was painful to watch and listen to. We can tell you that basically that was what happened at that oversight hearing that happened in Raleigh. Sheriff McFadden and a number of other leaders from Charlotte were in Raleigh talking about a number of things, including security in the CAT system. But it was that comment that has led to a groundswell, if you will. The Mecklenburg County Republican Party demanding that Gary McFadden step down after that testimony. It's raising questions about his understanding of governmental structure. Now, during the hearing, McFadden emphasized the importance of mutual respect, but Mecklenburg GOP spokesperson Jamie Daniels says the exchange goes beyond the simple mistake and reflects broader concerns about leadership and public safety. The party leaders argue that Mecklenburg County needs experienced leadership focusing on reducing crime and maintaining public trust. Now, for his part, McFadden has spoken to us when we've asked questions about that oversight hearing. Of course, this latest round of back and forth, we haven't spoken to him about. We have reached out to him. We expect to hear back from him. We may hear back from him as early as 1 o'clock today when there is a conversation, discussion about the possibility of reopening Jail North. Of course, all of that is something that we'll be asking questions on, including the latest round of back and forth, this one from the local GOP asking for him to resign. Of course, McFadden is focusing on being reelected as sheriff and running in this primary, the upcoming primary. We're right here outside the detention center in Uptown. Richard Devane. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, coming quickly, March 3rd. Right now, CMPD is investigating a deadly crash in South Charlotte. It happened around 9 last night on Old Providence Road and Vindu Place. According to medic, nobody needed to be taken to the hospital. Police haven't said what caused the crash. CMPD is also investigating after a person was found dead in North Charlotte. They say the victim was found on Lawton Road Sunday morning just off Brookshire Boulevard. Investigators haven't shared details on a possible suspect.
This morning, authorities are investigating 2 house fires across our area. The first, a deadly house fire in Cabarrus County. It happened Saturday morning in the Abington neighborhood of Harrisburg. That's just off Rocky River Road. Deputies say a man was found dead in the home. We're also working to learn more about the second house fire, this one in North Charlotte. It happened last night on Saxonberry Way, just off Prosperity Church Road. Charlotte Fire says no one was hurt. They were able to get those flames under control in about a half hour. Right now, the cause of both fires is unknown.
Over the weekend, one program did its part to make sure widows in our area felt extra loved during Valentine's Day, a holiday that can be tough. The Widows Outreach Program, now in its 6th year, delivered thousands of flower bouquets to widows throughout the region. Ashley Manning founded the initiative after sending flowers to her son's teacher, a widow, and witnessing the profound impact it had.
We're serving about 1,300 out of Charlotte here, with 300 going out of Denver, North Carolina. We have 85 going out of Lancaster. We have 50 going out of Columbia. We have 50 going out of Winston. So cumulatively, we're over 2,000 in the Carolinas.
Organizers say the flowers don't erase the grief, of course, but they do offer a connection on a day, a holiday that can sometimes feel lonely.
The debate over marijuana legalization in North Carolina continues. Advocates say legalization could bring big tax revenue that other states have seen.
You could be looking at easily $500 to $700 million a year coming into the state coffers, state and local coffers.
Across the country, states with legal recreational marijuana have generated nearly $25 billion since sales began in 2014. Coming up tonight at 6 on WCNC Charlotte, a look at what that money could be used for if North Carolina were to legalize recreational marijuana. All right, let's check back in with Chris now to find out more about our forecast on this sunny Monday.
And the only place that we had more clouds was our eastern viewing area. We have a tower cam over here in Anson County. Well, we've cut that cloud cover down by about 75%. Looking gorgeous right now. So lots and lots of blue sky, much like what we have over here in Dallas. Now, Dallas, if you look really closely, we're seeing a little bit of the ground clouds down below. So we still have some lower visibilities, but that's burning off. We were saying over on WCNC Charlotte that, hey, this is a very shallow deck of fog, so it's not going to last long. Tomorrow, I think, is a different case and scenario. Much thicker bands of fog you're going to be with, especially the further east that you go, closer to Raleigh. And then we have a perfect 10 over in Salisbury now, a 9 here in Charlotte, but that's not too bad. Our current temperatures, we are at 40 degrees, so we're going to begin our warm-up, so we're going to be a nice little jump by at least, I think, 4 degrees for the next update we get heading into the 9 o'clock hour. Freezing right here around Lincolnton, 34 for you in Hickory. So as you were heading out the door this morning, here's what you got. It's a little chilly, but not too bad. Sunshine is definitely staying with us. And in the mid-50s already by about noon. It's going to be a spectacular lunchtime forecast. We're serving up some sunshine sandwiches. We have winds anywhere from 7 to 12 miles per hour, and 62 degrees is going to feel great. However, I have to mention, this is one thing that's always overlooked, an occasional gust up to 20 miles per hour coming out of the north-northeast. That will be chilly. So yes, the sunshine is great, but at times it will be breezy and you're gonna be like, ooh, what is this? Especially if you're in the shade and you do not have that sunshine. Because I know a lot of you want to get out today because it was so dreary yesterday, not even a lick of sunshine, and it rained literally from sunrise to sunset and even before and after that. 66 degrees by tomorrow. I think we start off foggy for some, majority again further off towards the east, and then we'll see a mix of cloud and sunshine throughout the day, and then Wednesday trending to even be an overcast one at 68, and I think we're going to get a little bit warmer than that going forward. Up in the lower to the mid 70s on Thursday and Friday. Still a lot of question marks where the clouds are going to set up, where the bands of rain in general, but regardless, a cold front is moving through and it will cool us down. That's why we're back to the upper 50s on Saturday, Sunday. Here's the bottom on Monday, and then it's at this point that we're going to see our coldest lows. So we're actually above freezing, at least for the Charlotte area. We'll have some of you drop down to freezing. I think it's going to happen for you in Anson County, so some of the valley areas. Same thing, Lincolnton, I think you're back to freezing again tomorrow. 36 degrees, so a little bit colder than what we had this morning, but it's only Tuesday and next Wednesday that look to be below freezing. And then our rainfall chances, this is where there's a lot of problems. I'm seeing a lot of confusion if, hey, is it going to rain Saturday or is it not? I think Friday for sure, but it's going to be a difference. Is it more Friday night or more Friday night heading into Saturday? So that's a split difference here. But regardless, we have a chance for a few isolated showers starting as early as Wednesday. But coming up, I'm going to show you both scenarios that I'm currently seeing for our models, what you can expect for the weekend, and how much rain could add up after we just had one of our wettest days since September. All right, starting off the 8 o'clock hour. This is usually the prime time traffic, but Majestic, you were saying earlier with the kids not being in school, it has helped.
Yeah, we really haven't seen anything too significant. We've definitely had our fair share of things, that's for sure, and that's kind of the same setup right now. Look at how gorgeous it is outside, though. This is coming in from Blowing Rock, so if you're watching from one of our mountain counties, good morning to you, or maybe you're taking the kids up to the mountains for the day. Some of those roads still a little bit wet, otherwise not seeing any great concerns. Out there in Gaston County, I-85 at exit 19, still this ongoing wreck. We are seeing still that yellow there, meaning that cars are just moving slowly around it. Once we hop south of Uptown, it's going to be Carmel Road at Fairview Road. A minor inconvenience right here, still seeing a whole lot of green. And then just to the north of Uptown, this is not an accident, it's a stalled vehicle. It's something new though. It's out there on Beatties Ford Road at Oak Lawn Road and Brooker Ave. So watch for that as you're heading out. Otherwise, this is what we have for you right now. We'll have another check on those roads coming up here soon. Ben.
All right, Majestic, thanks. As we head to break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey everybody, you know here at ShopTVDeals.com, we love to bring you products that can make a huge difference in your life, and today we definitely have one of those kind of deals. Listen to this. We all know these days you get the big screen in your car, it shows you what's going on behind you as you reverse. But check this out, the Minolta dash cam takes that kind of protection to a whole new level. You have this front camera right here that gives you a 130-degree view of the road and a view inside the car as well. I just want to show you the view that you get on the dash cam here. Take a look at that. Really sharp, really high resolution, crystal clear image. There are features I love about this camera. Number one, infrared lights give you that inside view. It illuminates the inside of the car. Also, a special sensor comes on. Even when the car is parked, the cameras will roll if someone tries to break in or dings you in the shopping mall parking lot. How many times has that happened? It really is great for rideshare drivers and just everyday people. If something happens to you in the car, police these days ask for dash cam video. Insurance companies want it. It helps you with other drivers. So it really is about protecting you in case anything goes wrong with the car. You have it all here, that kind of footage. So let's be honest, you really can't put a price on protection, and we have a really, really great deal for you today. You get this entire camera system for 41% off. That is a great, great deal here. So for more information, just scan the QR code there at the bottom of your screen or check us out at ShopTVDeals.com.
Police in Kansas City, Missouri are investigating a mass shooting that happened in a nightclub early Sunday. 2 women died from the gunfire. Another woman and a man were wounded. Police say the man is in critical condition. Investigators say the victims had been talking with one another before shots rang out. Nobody's in custody, and police are now looking for the person responsible. A Buffalo police officer has been arrested and charged in connection to a homicide. Officers were called to a house for a welfare check of a female resident when police found her dead inside. New York's Attorney General Letitia James released a statement Sunday saying she was shot. Following a police investigation, officers arrested the victim's husband, 53-year-old Lance Woods. He's currently a member of the Buffalo Police Department and an active school resource officer. Woods has been charged with 1 count of murder in the 2nd degree and is being held awaiting his arraignment. 8:15 right now. We are now into week 3 of the search for Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie.
Nancy has been missing since the early morning hours of February 1st. NBC's Jennifer Bjorklund is in Tucson with the latest.
It is never too late to do the right thing. And we are here. We believe. And we believe in the essential goodness of every human being.
A new plea from a daughter who misses her mom so much. Watching this story from the inside as investigators do their work. They are leaving no stones unturned and testing dozens of bits of potential evidence. This neighborhood fanning out for several miles from 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's house is still a potential crime scene. The mystery around Guthrie's disappearance leaving neighbors on edge.
We're scared because it's what we do. It's the fear of the unknown.
Their weekend started with deputies blocking the road leading to a home believed to be connected to the investigation. SWAT trucks, several other undercover vehicles seen going into the area. One person questioned and released. Another person detained and a car towed at a fast food restaurant, but still no arrests. The sheriff's office says DNA from someone other than Guthrie or those close to her was collected from her property, and they're working to identify who the DNA belongs to, hoping to match it to a glove that was found 2 miles away, which is visually similar to the one worn by the subject seen on the camera at her front door. Law enforcement and Guthrie's church community coming together to appeal for her safe return home.
Lord, you're with Nancy, even now. We pray for her. Oh, Lord God, let your peace wash over Nancy's family. Give them rest as they wait.
The family last posting a week ago that they will never give up on her. Jennifer Bjorklund, NBC News, Tucson, Arizona.
The Department of Justice has sent Congress a list of politically exposed persons in the millions of files released related to its probes into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The DOJ sent the list in a 6-page letter on Saturday. The names of many prominent figures appear in those files, regardless of context, including presidents, cultural icons, business leaders, and government officials. Republican Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina, a vocal ally of Epstein survivors, slammed the DOJ, claiming there are, quote, missing names on the list disclosed.
We have the 60s and the 70s over the next 5 days, but what about the 80s? One question I had, when do you usually have your first 80-degree day here in Charlotte? Well, I'm going to answer that question as well as talk about the rain chances because we desperately need that as well. Me personally, I love the 70s. It's exciting, especially this time of year when they start to pop off, but many of you love the 80s. So that's why I'm answering this question. When do we usually have our first 80-degree high? Well, first off, there's always an earliest and a latest whenever you're talking about an average. The earliest ever wasn't too long ago. 1989 on Groundhog Day, February 2nd was our first 80-degree high, or earliest one. But on average, it's not until March 27th that we pop into the 80s for the very first time. And the latest that we've ever hit 80 degrees in Charlotte history was 1892 on May 2nd. So we'll see where we're going to end up in the near term, but really focusing in on February, we've officially hit 80 plus 15 times. There's been 10 times that we've had an exact high of 80 degrees, 2 times an exact high of 81, and the warmest that Charlotte has ever got was 82 degrees, and that happened 3 times. But most recently, we had another graphic for the back end of as far as 80-degree climatology goes. That last year, we hit 80 degrees on November 22nd. That is the second latest time that we popped into the lower 80s. It was almost exactly at 80 degrees, and we were very close to being the latest because on Christmas Day, we hit 79 degrees. Yeah, so we were so close. Multiple 79s have been in between here. So going forward for our 7-day forecast, you can see that no 80-degree days are in sight. So we're not going for number 16. Now, I think if we had more sunshine, because the drive of the winds out of the southwest, we would have a legitimate shot on Friday. But Friday looks to have more cloud cover with that. And there's still a question mark of what exactly that front is going to do. And then heading into the weekend, regardless, you're going to have the clouds, the cold front that's going to cool us down. So that'll bring still our lows, I think, in the 50s on Saturday, just around that 60-degree point, but usually takes a day for the colder air behind a front to settle in, sometimes 2. And that's exactly what you see on Monday. Monday, starting off in the mid-30s, which, by the way, is where we should be tomorrow as well. 50 degrees, and then that's the bottom. Then we start working back up. And the next freezing low that we have, at least here in Charlotte, I think some of us will be around freezing or slightly below, mainly Lincolnton. I can name Burke County, so Morganton, also over in Anston County and Wadesboro. But we have back-to-back freezing mornings on Tuesday, heading into Wednesday going forward. Here's what our futurecast shows in the near term. No rain over the next couple of days, so that's the good news. Today's perfectly sunny. Today is the sunniest day of the week, but the cloud cover tomorrow is mainly going to be ground clouds. I think we're going to have some really thick fog east of the Charlotte area, especially around the Raleigh area, and then we start to see a mix of clouds and sunshine rolling through Tuesday, increase that cloud cover heading into Wednesday. We really don't see signs of rain until you get to about Wednesday night heading into Thursday north of I-40, which isn't great. Some decent days in the meantime, but we're at the point that we definitely need more rounds of rain, even if it means washing out a Sunday like what we just did. Let's see how we are ending this half hour in the traffic world. Majestic, what's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Well, still kind of busy. We do have a couple of new accidents to let you know about. This will be south of Uptown. It's on Nations Ford Road between Downs Road and I-485. We're seeing it here. Not seeing any colors popping up, so likely not seeing any big delays for your morning commute. This one has been ongoing for over 30 minutes. Carmel Road at Fairview Road. Again, right in the intersection there where they're trying to get the car off to the side. Independence, if you take Independence, we do have a crash there near Eastway Drive and Windover Road. You can see the orange there indicating that cars are just moving rather slowly. And then Beatty's Ford Road and Oaklawn Ave, much of the same. So bottom line, it's not perfect out there, but we're not seeing anything that's really massively slowing a lot of people down this morning. It's a beautiful start to the day, a whole lot of sunshine. Some of our live cameras coming in from York County look like this, guys.
All right, Majestic, thanks. 8:24 now. We need to take a quick break, but make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC Plus.
Most of our cameras look like this. Gorgeous wall-to-wall sunshine. However, this camera, little optics going on, almost looks like a big eye in the sky. 39 degrees, that was our low. 40 degrees is where we're at right now. 34 in Lincolnton, so we're officially now above freezing across the board. So good news there. And part of that sunshine is going to be helpful as you're heading out the door. Enjoy it. Sunny skies as temperatures are racing through the 40s into the 50s by the late morning, even the mid 50s right around lunchtime. Compared to where we just were, yesterday's high of 52 is misleading because that was the high temperature right around midnight. Well, we're back to pretty much our status what we had Saturday. Saturday was gorgeous, 62 degrees. Well, we're doing that again. And then going forward, we're actually going to be much warmer, even talking about temperatures in the 60s to the 70s with additional cloud cover. And then tonight, 36 degrees will be the coldest by far over the next 7 days. All right, let's get right over to Majestic for our morning commute update.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is gorgeous outside. It's a little busy now that we are getting close to that 8:30 time frame. This is I-77 here, not seeing any significant delays. However, I am following all of these this morning on WCNC Plus. This right here is on Nations Ford Road between Downs Road and I-485. Make sure you allow for a little extra drive time. Again, we're covering everything on WCNC Plus.
You are streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Mecklenburg County health leaders are taking their planning process on the road, and they want to hear directly from you.
Today marks the start of a county-wide effort to gather community input that will help shape local health priorities for the next few years. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live this morning in Southeast Charlotte with what health leaders are hoping to accomplish. Destiny.
That's right. Mecklenburg County Public Health is kicking off a county-wide tour of sorts to share local health data and also get feedback from residents about what health issues matter to them and should be prioritized in 2026 and onward. Health leaders are calling this the Live Well Mech Tour, and it's about gathering community input as they build the county's next community health improvement plan. It's updated every 3 years. Focus areas include access to care, chronic disease, mental health, violence prevention, and maternal and child health. And according to Mecklenburg County's 2023 to 2025 data, there's been progress, including fewer uninsured adults and lower smoking rates in the county. But challenges remain with increases in suicides, youth suicide attempts, opioid overdose deaths, and homicides. Maternal mortality and housing cost burden are also concerns. Well, the first stop on this Live Well MEC tour is today from noon to 1:30 in Cornelius, and there are events across the county through mid-April. They're all free and open to the public. Now, public health officials say that this feedback is important to inform how this plan will be updated. It'll also help determine where resources and funding and strategies will be focused next when it comes to public health in the county. Live in Southeast Charlotte, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Destiny, thank you. Looking ahead, Charlotte City Council will discuss expanding street vending regulations this week. It comes as NODA's pilot program is set to expire today, effectively banning vending in the area. Council members cite concerns over congestion, police staffing, and competition with local businesses as their reason for considering the tougher penalties and fines. That meeting starts at 6 tomorrow night at the Government Center in Uptown.
Police in Lincolnton have arrested a man accused of targeting 2 young girls inside a Walmart. Officers say 25-year-old Tristan Coleman approached a juvenile, grabbed her, and tried to get her to leave the store. Investigators say he may have also taken inappropriate photos and assaulted a second girl. Coleman now faces attempted kidnapping and child exploitation charges and is being held in the Lincoln County Jail. As we speak, CMPD is investigating after somebody was found dead in North Charlotte. They say the victim was found on Lawton Road Sunday morning just off Brookshire Boulevard. Right now, investigators haven't shared details on a possible suspect.
A 43-year-old man from Louisiana will be arraigned today in Taylorsville after a multi-county police chase. It began in Catawba County when Sean Jones hit a deputy's car and drove away. He was eventually stopped in Alexander County at First Baptist Church and taken into custody. Jones remains behind bars this morning.
Right now, people are trying to climb out of debt are speaking up as the number of complaints against collection agencies are spiking. Federal data shows more consumers in the Carolinas and across the country are reporting abusive and threatening tactics. One Huntersville woman knows this struggle firsthand after racking up more than $30,000 in debt and facing relentless calls from collection agencies.
They were kind of like, how can you not be paying your bills? What kind of person doesn't pay their bills?
Now, if you're feeling trapped, help is out there. The best thing you can do is request written proof of a debt. And if you want to ask collectors to stop calling, you got to do it through the mail. Credit counsels also could be a big help to lower your rates, pay down balances, and get your finances back on track.
Soon, we'll learn more about plans to bring DMV kiosks to Charlotte stores. This morning at 10, the DMV is going to share an announcement about its plans to expand the Express self-service kiosk program here in Charlotte. Right now, there are 8 locations across the Queen City. They allow you to skip the line to renew your driver's license or pay your property tax. All right, let's check back in with Chris now for an update on our forecast. Superlatives?
Yeah, let's start off with those superlatives because today does claim one of the spots, one of my favorite ones, the sunniest day of the week, because beyond this, we're increasing the cloud cover each and every day. Then we have an unsettled pattern that's going to keep rain chance around. Nothing too huge. I'm not talking about multiple Sunday-like days. Instead, it's just going to be some very weak rain chance before it starts to come up. Our warmest day right now trending to be Friday. Now, Friday is the warmest in the mid-70s. Now, if we can push this front off a little bit later into a Saturday time frame, this is a shot that we have the upper 70s, so one of the warmest days of the year. But the wettest, this might be a cop-out. I have Friday into Saturday because there's still a lot of uncertainty. Is it going to be more of a Friday event? Is it going to be more of a Saturday? Right now, it's leaning towards more of a Friday, but that general time frame, regardless, it's either going to be Friday to Friday night or more like late Friday into Saturday morning. And the coolest behind that front will be on Sunday, and then the coldest lows will be outside of this 7-day time frame. That'll be next Tuesday as we return to the freezing point. Your Monday forecast looking great. I was just mentioning as we were cutting into the Today Show programming, look at this almost like eye in the sky. So it's just a little bit of camera optics here, but that's pretty cool. And temperatures reaching around that 60-degree point for a couple of hours during the middle of the afternoon. I think primarily about that 3 to 5 time frame with a high of 62, which is, by the way, the exact high that we had on Saturday. So enjoy it. Our scattered rain chances start to come up really on that Friday to Saturday time frame. So again, that's why this is looking like the wettest period of the week. And then we have isolated chances on Wednesday and Thursday, but nothing really looks to be too vast. So let's roll through our futurecast. Notice nothing going on. This was an easy choice for the sunniest. Now, the following Sunday, I think it's going to be pretty close to this. And then all in all, today, you have a better chance of just seeing some of those morning clouds. It's pretty much already past and gone. Tomorrow morning, that's where you have a better chance for that fog, especially from Salisbury down through Albemarle and Wadesboro. Very thick fog on the eastern side of the state to around Raleigh. So there is a chance that part of the state could be under a dense fog advisory. Keep that in mind. Still, all of us will have a chance to see a little bit of fog tomorrow. And then a mix of clouds and sunshine throughout the day. And then watch, that cloud cover really takes over heading into your Wednesday. Doesn't really look like any big rain besides maybe a sprinkle. And then north of I-40 is really a better shot of it, and that's Wednesday heading into Thursday. So even though I showed you the 20% chances for Wednesday, for Thursday, not a lot of them are really certified to verify across the area. And our rainfall forecast doesn't look to be great, about a ½ inch to an inch. And put in that perspective, we had 1 to 2 inches of rain fall in less than 24 hours. So I was mentioning that we desperately need a lot more of those rains. The rain that we had on Sunday was really a slow soak. If we can get at least a half dozen of those, that'll at least remove us from the severe drought and certainly some of the extreme drought spots that we now have on the map. So fingers crossed we can get more of those. But in the near term, enjoy the sunshine today. Tomorrow, still a decent day, temperatures in the mid-60s. And even though we have more cloud cover going forward, it starts off warm each morning in the 50s. Look at that, like low of 57, a low of 59. That's going to be enough ample warm up with a little bit of sunshine fighting through the clouds, a strong wind out of the southwest to drive our temperatures into the mid-70s. And again, if we get more sunshine on Friday, might be talking about the upper 70s with that front rolling through with rain Friday heading into Saturday before we start to cool down. The extended forecast is actually pointing towards even a low of 50 degrees come next Monday. So enjoy today. It looks to be a delightful President's Day if you want to get out of the house after that dreary, cloudy day yesterday, Majestic.
It should be beautiful. I'm looking forward to a little sunshine today, and if you're heading out the door, we definitely still have a handful of problems that are currently ongoing. Let's get straight to it. Let's take you south. This is south of Uptown. This is ongoing now. It's on Nations Ford Road between Downs Road and I-485. What I do like to see is that we don't have a lot of oranges or reds building, so really not seeing big impacts with that. Once we hop over to the east, this is now on Independence right before Sardis Road. That's heading inbound. That is a new accident. And then our second thing that's also on Independence near Eastway Drive is a stalled vehicle. Seeing a little yellow there, so you may be delayed just a few minutes. Carmel Road at Fairview Road, there's a crash there right at the intersection. I've been following that for a while now. Still not completely cleared. And then finally, this is traffic light signals that are not working. It's on Beatties Ford Road at Oak Lawn Ave and Booker Ave. So keep this in mind, seeing a lot of green around it, but definitely still some activity as you're heading out the door this morning. Guys.
Majestic, thanks. TSA officers are once again working without pay due to a partial government shutdown. We'll hear from some agents next. New this morning, CMPD officers made an arrest in a deadly hit-and-run case. Court records show the crash happened yesterday near the Freedom Village Shopping Center in West Charlotte. CMPD says Yolanda Brown was arrested and is facing multiple charges, including felony death by vehicle and possession of cocaine. She is expected in court today at 1:30.
The latest jobs report shows the U.S. added 130,000 jobs in January, but most of that growth came from one place: caring for older Americans. Home health aides, nursing assistants, and long-term care workers accounted for nearly all of those gains, reflecting what is a major shift in the labor market.
These roles are essential and in high demand, yet they're often physically demanding and modestly paid. As the population ages and the need for long-term care rises, the strain on this workforce is only expected to grow. It's a reminder the country's job growth is increasingly tied to people who help others live their daily lives.
A new political battle has now triggered a partial government shutdown, and that shutdown could trigger frustrations at the airport. It's because TSA agents are once again having to work without pay. Valina Jones reports.
Whether you're lining up at San Jose International Security Checkpoint or the Oakland Airport, a warning for travelers: TSA officers are still on the job, but are once again working without a paycheck. That's because of a new partial government shutdown just months after last fall's historic 43-day full government shutdown.
You know, people's lives and livelihoods are being played with here, and it's one of those things that should never happen.
Andrew Cardoso supports TSA agents throughout Northern California through the AFGE union. He also works at the Oakland Airport. He says he and fellow agents are still recovering financially from the last shutdown.
People are just feeling defeated. I mean, this is not something that we should even have to face, especially because ultimately, this has nothing to do with us.
Funding for the Department of Homeland Security expired at midnight Saturday after lawmakers failed to reach a deal on Democrats' proposed restrictions on federal immigration enforcement. Some travelers we spoke to say they're willing to suffer through longer lines if it means new restrictions on ICE.
I don't care. Shut it down. Shut down the government. Yeah. But the government's doing completely illegal.
Other travelers are worried what this means for TSA officers in potentially crowded airports.
It's disgusting that they would even consider not paying them to help us get to where we need to get to.
The union, representing roughly 260 workers at Oakland's airport, worries how long this shutdown will last.
This does not just impact officers. This impacts families here in the Bay Area, children, spouses.
AFGE 1260 is working to support union members with resources. For now, union workers say they're committed to coming to work, but stress many of their members have significant commutes, and the longer the shutdown lasts, the harder it is for their members to show up.
For me, eventually, it's going to come down to, do I put gas in the car to go to work for free, or do I put food on the table with that money for my kids? And I know which one I'm going to pick. It's going to be the kids.
Valina Jones with that report. Rising coffee prices are pushing many longtime coffee lovers to rethink their daily routines. What used to be a simple, affordable habit has become an expensive ritual, leading some people to cut back, switch to cheaper brews, or to give up coffee entirely. Some are discovering that brewing at home saves money without sacrificing flavor, while others are finding new morning substitutes altogether. It's a small shift that reflects a much bigger story about how people are adapting to the cost of everyday life. Wendy's says it plans to close at least 5% of its restaurants over the next few months as part of a previously announced turnaround plan. In November, the fast food chain said it would shutter hundreds of restaurants. According to the company's earnings, Wendy's had nearly 6,000 U.S. locations at the end of last year. The company has not announced a list of affected stores.
All right, it's President's Day, so time for some presidential trivia. So Donald Trump is the 45th and 47th president of the United States. But who was the first president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms? Any idea? I'll actually give you a hint before we go to the break. This person's name is also the name of a U.S. city. All right, the answer coming up after the break.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Time for today's Carolina Trivia, and this is what it's all about. It's the name most often used in street names right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. That name is Sharon. You may have noticed. According to city data, there are 24 street names in Charlotte that contain the name Sharon. 24 street names. The original one is Sharon Road, that led from Sharon Presbyterian Church to other churches in the Charlotte area, and that goes all the way back to the 1830s. Check out some of the names: Sharon Avenue, Sharon Brook, Sharon Forest, Sharon Lakes, Sharon Avenue Brook. So many of them. In fact, there are 24 names that use Sharon right here in the Charlotte area. That's your trivia. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Larry, thanks for sharing.
I got it. He's here all week, folks.
All week, folks. Try the deal. I said in the 6 a.m. hour, silence. Absolute crickets in this studio. No one got it.
We had coffee. We're awake now.
We're awake now. All right, live pictures right now from the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. on this President's Day. February, of course, the birth month of two prominent presidents, both Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. So let's bring in Chris, because just before the break, you had a little presidential trivia.
All right, and it's okay if you don't know this because I didn't leave a multiple choice, but here it is. Who was the first president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms? Of course, President Trump is the second. Do either one of you know who this is? My hint was his last name is a U.S. city, and I'll tell you the state if you don't know. It's in Ohio. Ben knows this.
Cleveland.
There it is. Very
Grover,
good.
Cleveland.
Yeah,
Yes.
Grover Cleveland. You got that right. So he was the very first. He
that
was
was
the
tough,
22nd
Chris.
and the 24th. No, that's fine. I give you hints. That's all right. It's also Monday morning. I understand.
Also, I don't recall a President Cincinnati.
Yeah,
So-
no.
This is true.
So,
President Akron or Dayton.
yeah.
Yeah, and then Columbus, definitely no Toledo, that's for sure. So narrow it down. Yeah, no, it was Grover Cleveland, the 22nd and 24th president of the United States. Staying with the president's theme, as you can see, we're over here in South Dakota, Mount Rushmore. If you've never seen that before, boy, is that a cool thing to see. Also got to check out Crazy Horse over there as well. 56 degrees right around noon, and then 61 degrees, plenty of sunshine coming your way for the day off from school for many of the kids. I know JT is going to be out and about going to the playground, then 49 degrees. And I was doing the playground forecast. I think it's going to be wet, so maybe you want to bring your service, and a small towel might not be a bad idea. But hey, a lot of those kids are probably just going to go down the slide and they're going to be drying it off on their own. Our dense fog variables are especially high, I think, by tomorrow. Closer to Raleigh. It's also a colder morning, so it's going to be colder and foggy by tomorrow morning. Chance to drop down to around that freezing point, so we have some borderline freezing fog. But here's the deal. Freezing fog, yes, you could have a little bit of slickness on some of the bridges and overpasses, but truly, for freezing fog to really become an issue, you need multiple hours below that point. I think this at most maybe 2 hours around that freezing point. And then going forward, the big news this week is the warming trend, where we have the 70s back in action by Thursday and Friday, feeling more like spring. And depending on how much sunshine we get, we might even see the upper 70s by the back end. Our rainfall forecast, isolated showers on Wednesday, not a big deal. I think Thursday morning we could wake up to an isolated shower, but it's really Friday and Saturday that's going to be the main jam that we're going to have a better chance for a little bit of rain, but not a lot. All of our model data, the general consensus shows 1 to 2 inches over in Tennessee, Kentucky, the western side of Virginia, maybe even just west of Asheville, but only up to about an inch here close to home. And we even have a little bit of a narrow spot that doesn't even show too much here in Charlotte. So not a lot of hope. This model is not also showing a really good range. Look at that. Ugh. Not much at all heading through the weekend. So fingers crossed that we get a little bit more rain than this. So not a lot of rain, but at least we do have some rain chances. Okay, one last look here on WCNC Plus of our morning commute. Majestic, what's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Well, here's my map. You can see we now have a lot of accidents that are ongoing, but still nothing really slowing us down on I-77 specifically. A little bit of a slowdown here and there on I-85. Let's take you out to Gaston County. We're following this here. It's an accident. I-85 southbound after Lowell McAdenville. That's exit 23. Just off to the west of it, another one here on I-85 I-85 southbound again right there at exit 19 Ozark Avenue. So those are the two things that I'm following for you this morning out in Gaston County. And then once we're heading east towards Charlotte, this is I-485. It's the outer loop right there near West Boulevard, exit 6. It's not a crash, it's just a disabled vehicle that might slow you down a few minutes. But again, not saying red. We like that. Then finally, this is the last thing here, Mallard Creek Church Road and Mallard Creek Road. There is a crash there right in the intersection. They're working to clear that right now. Guys.
All right, Majestic Things, 8:54 now. We need to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC Plus. Coming up at the top of the hour, our own Megan Bragg. You see her getting into position there. It's going to take over from our live Impact studio. Stay with us.
Good morning. 41 degrees right now in Hickory. We're up to 46 in Charlotte. All right. 43 right around Statesville. Who's ready for a sensational day? Better than yesterday. Sunshine across the board, 62 for a high. So matching similar high temperatures to what we had on Saturday. Sunshine all day long with a wind gust occasionally getting up to 20 miles per hour. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows that we are on the way up into the lower to the mid 70s on Thursday and Friday. Best chance for rain right now look to be Friday night heading into Saturday. That's going to lead to a cool down. Through the 50s we go. Enjoy the sunshine today. Today is the sunniest day of the week. All right, Majestic, one last look at traffic. What do people need to know?
It is gorgeous out there. One of those days where you need your sunglasses, maybe a jacket as you're heading out the door. Area roadways, not perfect, but we aren't seeing things that are majorly slowing you down this morning. This is coming in from York County, so out there in South Carolina, looks all right. One thing to know, though, is this new crash just outside of Uptown. It's at Charlottetown Ave at East 3rd Street. We're seeing delays coming in there as there is a crash right at the intersection. Then off to the west, this is out in Gaston County. Those traffic lights not working. It's going to be out there towards McAdenville exit 23. And then finally, this ongoing crash at exit 19. Take it easy.